Good morning. Good morning. Brian Johnston talking about Bosun's lines and use of them in controlling drawdown. I'm using the gold to show you a perfect modem. We can assume that as it is, the close of the forex, that the new Bosun's line will be here approximately on Monday on the opening. Therefore, if we followed Bosun's thinking and we wanted to use this as a drawdown management tool, we would use units of 0.01 for accounts under 5,000, 0.1 for accounts of 10,000, and 1 lots for accounts of 50,000 as an example. Now, as this is going to open up on Monday, this is a new Bosun line. Confirming the trend after 20 minutes of the opening, we look at the basket H4 and we can assume that the Bosun's line will be about here, and we're looking at the volume. Is it buy or sell? Then we go back to the gold. We're using gold because it's an ideal venue with this market, with the the US dollar being so weak. Of course, on the strengthening of the dollar, this could be a shorting market, but we're looking at here after 20 minutes of the opening which way the market is tending to go. So we assume that the Bosun line will be here. That's this line here. We are going to look at the new R1, R2 lines on Monday. We could put a limit order if we were so sure on long on here, a second limit order on a buy if it was long on the R2, a third limit order, and then we're talking 0.1, 0.01, 0.1, etc., depending on your account size. A third one here, a fourth one here, a fifth one here, and a sixth and a seventh example. On buys, if we're feeling strongly as the gold index is moving up and is predicted so high, we could use the buy. But let's look at another venue, and we'll try and find one where the US dollar is on a short venue, and we will put this in the 4-hour frame, and we can see that this venue here, we can assume the new line will be here, and we're going to look at putting a short on if the shorts thing, because the US dollar is short and the JPY is quite strong here. But we would look on Monday, that could be a counter hedge for someone and using similar lines. Supposing on the gold, and this can only be done with the traders that can hedge on the same currency on both directions. So this currency had 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 on, say 1, 2, 3 on the hedge and on the gold, and it went the opposite way. One could put 0.1 long, 0.1 long, 0.1 long in the 3 areas as they fall to different levels, and have 3 on at the same time as a counter hedge to the shorts. And of course, you would put more on if the trend was going against you, and you can trade more shorts than longs if the trend changed to short. So you're continually producing sales to your stock. You are continually putting sales on to your stock. Simply by doing this, you are position averaging your cost price. I want you to think about cost price and averaging. This is for a trader who has been trading game mode, has been learning drawdown, managing drawdown control. So always you are at the maximum from your opening, which was down here, $10,000. It is 10,380, and your sales growth is growing, and your drawdown. So even if you liquidated everything, you would still have a 380 profit. We're talking about controlling drawdown to a maximum of 10%. Then you stop trading, or you start using these points very carefully in your trading. But you can start trading like this straight away using these points, following up your trend. So we're following the trend here. We put 0.1 on. If the trend on Monday was up, we'd put 1 on. If it went against us, we would put another 1 unit, third 1 unit, and a fourth, because it'll always return here sometimes during the week, except when the trend is extremely strong, but it will retrace to different levels. By putting on the 0.1s, you are getting sales, and you are at the same time causing your average cost to reduce. This is just giving you an idea. So in rehash, the Bosun line here, and on Monday we can assume it is going to be here because it's a close. This grey Bosun line will be there on Monday. After the opening of Monday, we can look at our basket. We can look at where our basket is. Look at our sellers and buyers volume after 20, 30 minutes on the opening of Monday. We can come back here and confirm our sellers and buyers here. We can quite confidently place one lot on the new Bosun's line, or slightly above it, because the trend is up. We can then wait for the R2, R1, R2 lines as they come in. If we have a retracement, we're averaging out our cost and putting another unit on, and a second, and a third. And we are looking at any of these to start to go back into profit. How do you hedge? Well, a good way of hedging is to look at the US dollar on this if you can't hedge using the same currency. But where would you hedge on the same currency? You wouldn't take a profit and then hedge, put a hedge on, unless you put a buy on, but you wouldn't put a sell hedge on unless your price is within reasonable distance down to the Bosun line. The old Bosun line, or at least to your supports that are your resistance supports, S1 or S2, etc. I want you to think of business management. This is a method of Bosun's using the 0.1s on retracements down in the same direction. On the way up, it's taking profits on the different support and resistant lines. So use these lines as they are, in fact, double tops, double bottom confirmation lines. They are supply and demand zones, or they are, in some cases, fractals of the line. See, this is a fractal of the Bosun's line. It's gone above it. You have 1, 2, and the fractal of above the line. Notice you can use any indicator you like. The indicators I use are here, when there are at least three in the first three time frames of green, the buyers and the sellers volume, and the upturn on a buy and the downturn on a buy on the index, on the Bryans index, and the dollar index is moving away. This is a good indication that the trend is going to continue. You have here the daily water level and the 4-hour level, and you can see it's still climbing. This is just briefly an introductory course into using the Bosun lines and following the trend. The trend is defined. The next one is up. So gold is very strong. It's a good one to talk about. You can use alternate units. If you can't do same currency trends, you can use the same principle using correlation currencies. I hope this helps you understand trading and remember the idea of loss, profit, loss. The moment you enter a trade, it's a loss. It will eventually go into profit and then back into loss. Trading is a circle. Bosun made a system of mathematical calculations which in turn show they are at double tops, double bottoms, support and resistance areas. You can see by the arrows are giving you an indication of the trend change. Notice here the 1, 2, and here's a fractal. It breaks those two. It's also using the double top, double bottom principle where you need 2 points above the original fractal to go up above it, or vice versa. You need 2 and then there's a fractal down. So there's a fractal down. That's the short entry, is actually one after the arrow. And here it is just after the arrow is a fractal. Okay, bye for now from Brian. I hope this helps you in trading, managing your drawdowns. You can manage your drawdowns, you can take sales on the way up, and you can remanage your drawdowns on the way down using these points of support and resistance lines. Bye for now from Brian.